There's a decent side lane threat with this Aurora here for Dplus KIA, and if the Aurora gets ahead in the lane against Morgan on his Rumble, then the Ryze can have a lot of value elsewhere.
As aiming, getting some damage down onto Polo. Beryl stands beside him. And there it is, level 6 and the first streak going over to DK, spelling about a 600 gold lead. Very tricky.
Okay, does smite the first grub, so I was like, damn, he got the first one without smite. He's going to get 2 for sure without even a fight. But no, gets the first one with smite. We'll get the second one, it looks like, without it here because Bro are just not going to contest.
And Polo is going to accept a back massage. It does a fair bit of damage, as we can see there. But yeah, Lucid actually going to get all 3. So, a bit of a monopoly when it comes to the neutral objectives thus far for DK.
Only one more for the objective feat of strength now, Bros, so it's not like you could have sneaked Lucid into the backside or anything like that. So it's just going to be a dragon.
Yep, Closer also taking a turret shot because he could.
Yes.
May as well. Just trying to get as much damage down onto Showmaker as he can.
Doesn't have Lucid here. He's coming over now, but there's a window.
Well, Beryl is going to turn up yet again. This time aiming is there to defend him as he gets behind the door. There's a nice stun to try and lock them down, and the double knockup comes through from Beryl as Lucid dives forward, but first blood goes over as Beryl does fall down. Still Croco is going to die as Showmaker realm warps his way in, and aiming is on the warpath, looking to take down Polo, and there's Lucid to finish him off. The flash forward there from Showmaker finds the Rune Prison onto Hype as well, and they're looking for the feats of warfare, but it may be a second kill over to the Bros. Chunk of damage that is going to be missing now for the Bros as Croco moving over alongside Closer. Showmaker going to get pushed out here as we'll see whether Lucid can land the smite. Teleports from both of our top laners moving forward, but she is going to get here first. There is the ulti out of Beryl, does find Hype as Polo goes unbreakable. And Shiu is actually going to get headbutted to safety. Still, it's a fight on multiple fronts, and Croco is likely to die to Showmaker as the shockwave comes through yet again, but it's just not enough damage. And Shiu is just ignored throughout this entire fight. And Closer is just going to have to run his way away.
This is a pretty disastrous situation here for Bro, who will also lose this first turret. And, I mean, feats were already there, but that's a ton of extra money to Aiming, who is running away with this game. And so
still DK, not going to have access fully to this river as Banana Brush control is going to be there. As Lucid comes out as stealth and finds Morgan. He lays down the red carpet, but that is not going to help him when it comes to the culling. As now Beryl looking to continue the follow-up. He's likely to die, but what more can they get? As never mind, Beryl's going to be fine. Showmaker now looking for an angle as the shockwave doesn't quite CC him enough as the knockups are everywhere. Lucid able to flash out, and it's a triple for Showmaker. DK are just styling on them.
Oh yeah, this game may have just ended right here in front of our eyes as it's another phenomenal engage from Lucid on that first pick. Wukong they grabbed, was able to get there, play around the vision control. Bro had no idea. They knew, like, yeah, he's looking to engage us, but we have to approach for Dragon here. They had no idea the angle of which he was going to come in. Just jumps out, gets the Cyclone. We have Flash Cyclone. It doesn't seem that way based on the champs he has really excelled.
That may justify the terrible center build.
Yeah.
Because he just feels more comfortable with the item. As Bro,
okay,
they feel more comfortable just starting Otacon.
Bro desperation here. I mean, they have all their ultimates online. This is the best fight they're ever going to get for the rest of the game with the prio they have.
Well, this may not be the way to live long and prosper, but we'll see whether they can make something of it as Beryl and Aiming are going to turn up. There's the interruption on the culling as Aiming does have to flash to get out of the way, but he finds the distance with the flash. She is going to go down first, though, as now the Otacon down so incredibly low. It will be taken here by the Bros, but Otacon for Nexus is not a trade I've heard working out very well so far in the LCK. Maybe elsewhere it's a thing, but no, that 50 gold is the most important if we remember.
And they want to get the chase on him. Now, 11 out of 13 KP, ready to trust.
Yeah.
And this Braum angle in this game, you know, we weren't 100% sure about it, but from ahead, and when you just can send your Lucian straight up the mid lane and then be wherever you want.
And they need to kill Aiming. That is definitely part and parcel
of the task here. He knows where he doesn't have vision.
Well, Polo's going to look for it. He does have the orb, but he's not going to be able to find the target. Beryl might be in trouble, though, as he does throw down the ulti, but finds no joy with it whatsoever and will just die. Still, the culling does so much work onto Morgan. And DK now just find themselves without a Braum.
Okay, this could be playable.
Oh, Shiu looking for an angle here, throws down the circle. This is their engage, by the way. It's Shiu putting his body into the Bros. It worked at the Otacon fight. It did not work here.
The Raptor camp, they can't actually threaten that inhibitor.
Oh, that would have been so cute. I think Aiming missed the memo. So what he could have done is realm warp them over. And by the way,
yeah, he is going to be so difficult to kill. Like, Aiming is definitely your target.
Yeah. Beryl, don't go back to that spot. Just don't. He is back there. Never mind. Do what you want, Beryl. He's now moving further forward, does have a fair bit of support, but will get pulverized once again. But when that's on cooldown, there is some opportunities here as Aiming going to get engaged on here as Croco has to use the ulti. Man, Aiming does so much damage. The circle is put down as Xiu goes between worlds, and the Realm Warp gets Showmaker into the base. He's playing Rise like Twisted Fate. Gets a huge shield here from the Seraphs. Xiu's in there as well, but he's going to get taken down. Showmaker follows suit. Hype finds the double. And DK, I mean, that's too much.
Like, they snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory in that fight.
Do that.
Yeah, just either go get Baron or like walk down mid and end the game. Instead, they decided to get fancy with it. Now they're going to start Baron up. Bro, do not have flash for Croco, so contesting this is so
flash,
challenging.
No blast cone. This is just gone. And DK, I guess, was sick of having fun, and they kind of just want to end the game. I don't know.
That's a small bonus here. Now these on this dragon, it won't take too long, but we're just going to go, well, hopefully they'll get a little bit too excited again, and maybe we'll win another team fight where they overextend. Because really, that's your game plan now, is just hope to...
Could be in a little bit of trouble. He's just going to Realm Warp away, so he's fine. And Xiu, as a response, is just going to take an inhibitor turret. This is what we were hoping to see.
Yes.
After they kill Croco, go back to Baron, and then go back in. Instead, they decided to lose a bit of a team fight first, which is an extra step that we would not recommend. Still, it's working, right? We can't really fault DK. They are playing a little bit fast and loose, but the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rainy day today, but Croco's wind is not becoming lightning very often in this one.
No, it is not. It needs really dry weather for that to happen. As an Australian, we know all about it. You know, if you're from the Northern Territory or around any of these deserts, you can still potentially win the game. However, it is very, very difficult because now you got super minions making things even harder as Croco, my goodness, okay, that's not a back massage anymore. That is just, yeah, that's a lot of damage there from Aiming.
Yeah, is it too hard, sir?
Yes, 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 yes. Please, take your boots off. It's okay. The Cyclone comes on forward from Lucid. It's not really a full engage, though, as DK just pull it back. They have now used the Cyclone, but now there are no Nexus turrets. Braum is going to be the target once again, and guess what? Yes, you can kill Braum. You have lost your entire base, and there is now a teleport bringing Xiu back in. Croco takes that as a sign to go, as the rest of DK will just end the game. There it is! Aiming finishes it off.
It's not always about the top tier picks, it's about the composition you build. And I look at these two drafts, I'm like, not sure about the compositions we've built. I mean, I like Dplus's comp more, though. Yeah. This is kind of the way that if we go all the way back to, hold up, we're going to have Xiu as a target of a dive.
Yep, level 4 gank this time around as Morgan is going to be slicing over. Everyone's flashing for Xiu, who does shield himself up. He's still alive as Croco comes over and will be able to pick up the kill with the bleed. Still, that was a lot closer than I think a lot of people were expecting. Xiu going to try and keep himself alive on this wave, actually picking up so much of this farm before it does all go down, and he can then teleport back up.
Perfectly here for Dplus, where they get the dragon and get the lane swap during it, as Beryl just hangs around here for a moment and can go and rejoin.
Yep, the dangers of a lane freeze, which is obviously what Polly was looking for there by holding that wave. So they're going to be caught a little off guard as Xiu doesn't manage to get the knock up here. Aiming going to turn up.
Alive, by the way, and Dplus have a trap set here with Lucid.
Yeah, the flash forward, Chains of Corruption going to connect there, as well as the kitchen sink hits the Renekton. He slices and dices though, and Aiming has to flash, but he does pick up the first kill for DK. A heal to get themselves back out here as well, as Showmaker has started off these grubs, understanding that they have the man advantage for only 10 seconds time. A teleport can bring Morgan back in, but that may be enough time for DK to be able to lock at least one of these grubs down. Smite is going to be invested, and they are just going to get themselves out as Closer, holding onto the Seismic Shove, does find it here onto Showmaker in the end.
And Closer's Taliyah has been so insane this year. Like, he had so many great Taliyah games, whereas in the past it was such a weak point for him champion-wise in my mind. He did not, however, Weaver's Wall into that fight, try to turn it when Morgan was being focused.
The most impactful, but
Dplus, gonna need Xiu here if they're gonna fight for this.
Yep, they've got a lot of vision because they do, of course, still have that crab, but Croco gonna have to bounce over that wall, and now DK with full control of this area. Morgan, no teleport, no chance. And let's see whether Croco can actually make something happen. They engage on him, and that is how you blow up the Nefiri. You just kill him in one shot.
Or mind control him to look for a steal, yeah.
Something like that. Hextech Dragon is going to be the soul for this game as Shiu teleports back towards that top side. They had to sacrifice some plates for it. Have looked pretty good so far this series. I think if you're a Bro fan, first, get your Bro tax in. There's a button there for a reason. That's going to help Polu land things like this, as the exhaust going to be used on him there as well. As nice double knock-up. Beryl is going to die. Can they do some more work towards Showmaker as the curtain call underground?
Dplus, like if they get soul point here, they can kind of do whatever they want for the rest of the mid-game.
Ooh, Beryl. Deadly Flourish comes down again, and he's caught by another hook.
I see you, I CC you!
Yeah. There was definitely a lot of CCU there.
And now they're just going to get this Herald, and because the Dragon doesn't spawn for 40 more seconds here, it's not like Dplus can make a trade for this. They either have to try to contest this Herald, or they're going to have to just regroup and maybe look for some vision on Dragon. Surely, right?
Lucid is wrapping around. They're looking for the poke damage, of course, with Avaris in here. It is a possibility, but there is a Renekton now channeling the teleport behind him, and now the engage onto Lucid. Can he actually get in here? I think it's a successful disengage thus far, but it is going to be the Rift Herald going over to the Bros. Now can they find the team fight? That's the question. Is Aiming having to deal with a crocodile on top of him, and he gets shoved right back into the melee. Now we do have the return of Beryl, but he's a little too late. It is going to be Lucid taking down the support, but I think he will be the sacrifice as there is a slice ready for Morgan, as Showmaker going to have to flash away. Shattering Strike from Beryl to try and save his mid laner, and Croco just gets Magnet Storm so that Showmaker can survive.
Right, so we're just putting all the buttons on cooldown, except Lucid's ult.
Oh, but that is going to be feats of strength over to the Bros.
Yeah, bro.
Unless Morgan just dies to the turret.
Oh my god.
That would have been feats of strength.
He doesn't have
still
TP.
Could be. How much health? How much health on that thing?
He doesn't have TP. They spent so much trying to kill Showmaker and fail. They spent so much trying to kill Sion.
They're going to teleport Closer up to at least lock down feats of strength. So there that is. I think that would have already happened, I think, to the minions, but that's totally fine. The soul point is going to be taken for free.
Yeah. Aiming in danger? Question mark? Maybe not.
Aiming in danger confirmed. Beryl may be more danger because he's just often in danger by existing on the map.
Bro, you were the Dragon team. Remember?
You were the chosen ones. You had the high ground.
I remember when Bro were the Kingslayers and they beat Dplus KIA and like,
hey, honestly,
all King Lava. And
okay, but they still do have a gold lead.
True.
They have feats of strength.
True.
They took the mid lane out of turret. They've done some stuff. They're landing every single shove. And Shiu is just dead. Shiu's also playing a tank. We haven't actually mentioned this, but he has struggled on the tanks so far here in the Rise group.
Well, you know the gift that keeps giving is I see you, I CC you in this game. Like, it's actually wild. Like, we saw that flank from Lucid on the Herald earlier. They saw him. They CC'd him.
Yep.
And this just continues to be a thing. Sion, he takes a long time to kill, but they will CC him.
Well, oh, that hook was beautiful. And the follow-up is going to be there as well, as the Nefiri grabs herself a kill onto the Foxy Lady. Closer is going to get exhausted, but can't here.
Okay, the turn has to be pretty crisp here. Showmaker has TP. They do not have vision, but they're very aware of this. TP from Beryl as well. They should be able to come for a contest, but like, they need to be faster about this.
Yeah, Hook is going to connect onto a wall here as Lucid, okay for the moment, does get over and does have to flash to get out of the way of the seismic shove. Magnet Storm pulling a couple of them in, but Beryl is still going to fall down. Polu flashes away to not suffer the same fate as the seismic shove is going to be avoided. Cease and desist as Lucid will trade his life, but this time Croco gets to go untargetable, and it is just kind of a disaster here for DK as Bro. They're seeing a target, and then they're CCing a target, and then they're killing a target.
This is the gift just keeps on giving with this comp. Like, you could just make it happen every single team fight. The wild thing about this is Bro actually make the decision to turn. They have Paulo set up, and like, I think old Bro might have just held the Otacon here and given Dplus an in, but they say no, we have a Talia, we have a Nautilus, and you know what, Atlas? Yeah, he's kind of flanking when he needs to be frontlining.
Yeah, and look, if you can actually dictate when the fights happen, that can work out, but now it's 34 petals to 3.
Oh, they didn't see him!
We're going to all in onto Morgan, who does get on top of aiming. It looked a little scary for a moment, and in fact, it is. As is the Talia locking down a kill. Beryl's going to be the next one to die. Yes, you took down the Lord, but we will kill all of you as the revenge comes in from the bros.
Not too much to write home about on its own, but the gold they picked up in the ensuing fight from the pick onto Morgan as 4 kills worth is definitely where they're going to be pointing their fingers here if they're looking at the game state to their 7,000 gold lead. We had one for Dplus hitbox to a seismic shove into all the other forms of damage. And Showmaker's caught again.
Yep, another hook. Polu is just going insane today. It's looking real good. The Magnet Storm is kind of decent here from Beryl, though. That will kill Croco as in goes Lucid. Now they're starting to get some of these resets for aiming as Close are the next one to be locked down, but they run out of damage, they run out of buttons, and they may run out of 80 carry as well, as the Curtain's thankfully going to get blocked by Lucid. Xiu does finally find himself in amongst the fray.
Winning the longer fight there, and will eventually get this turret. TP to help secure here for Paulo, and now they can wrap over towards it. Croco has respawned, and with all the vision they have.
1,000 gold lead, Wolf. It is still the circling of the drain here for DK. Seismic shove after the deadly flourish. You can fish for these all day on the side of the bros, and now the Curtains are going to be called. In goes the Scion, dead on arrival here, as we can see. Maybe the zombie can get some DPS happening, as Morgan is just going to melt aiming with basically just his ultimate. It's a quadra kill in the end for Hype. And if Morgan hadn't have just Dominus to kill aiming, that could have even been a penta, but that is going to be an ace here for the bros. And I think a guaranteed best of 3, a guaranteed at least 4 games here on the day, as the bros just ran circles around DK this game.
Oh yeah, and Lucid was just a sandbag to be ripped apart in so many of these exchanges. And the Talia pick working a treat here. They did not trade it for Azir, they went for the Ahri Vi, and they just got dismantled. High volatility on the comp here for Dplus, and bro.
They picked it face up into Galio. Now there's a Maokai there as well that also thrives in those sorts of situations. If the MF can ever get into a position to do damage, then all 5 members of Dplus will be there.
And as much as the players probably try not to read, you know, there's a lot of that, as he's going to redeem himself here.
Morgan's dead. I have no idea what happened, apart from the fact that Xiu just killed the Lord. Right now, Lucid is going to be able to take at least the first one. It's going to go down very quickly as well, as he's getting closer and closer to that first item. And Beryl just standing guard. That is going to be the gentleman's agreement here, as both of these teams absolutely full of gentlemen, as we know.
And even though they had Paulo with level 6 and the Galio ult was available for closer, they just let the grubs go. Safer call. That timing.
Yeah,
Still value. There you go. Maybe play Gauntlet.
Yeah, that could be the way. Definitely not Mario Party.
Yeah, I was going to say that is
play Mario Party.
Morgan still has Flash, but doesn't have his ult anymore, and I think he's just dead.
Yeah, he is very, very dead. Does look to lock down Beryl, as one more auto will do it. Aiming was tanking the turret, so that means they are able to get it done.
Catch them, these waves, and missing minions at a time. Lucid getting some more farm away as well.
Yeah, Croco going to be taking a death mark here, as Lucid continuing to try and do damage. Showmaker wanting to catch up and take down the Troll King. And down he will go. There's Feats of Warfare locked up from Lucid. How to bullet time correctly. All right, we're going to check this one out from Lucid's perspective.
Gets the camp away. Has Eclipse, so has that extra shield. Goes in for the combo here. Has ult running.
Yeah, he likes it.
Good. Got him.
And he said it was delicious.
Everything they want, and that's kind of how this comp works, as Lucid once again lurking. He's got the right target.
Oh God, yeah. Hype is going to have to try and make it rain, but unfortunately it's rain and aimings instead. And down he will go.
So,
oh dear. Well, there's a taunt onto Showmaker. He's putting the kennel as well, but Tibbers, he likes that. That's another kill for Lucid, somehow. We'll need context on that one. Oh my God.
First turret and Dragon after getting the kill and not backing. He doesn't care. Well, yeah, this game is starting to really become quite a one-sided one.
Thankfully, the bros have already taken a Dragon and so they're not going to get perfect gamed here in game 3.
Yeah, it's not going to be a double dragon. Palu eats some of Amy's Q. He doesn't even stick for it. Yeah, Lucid just... red buff.
Yeah, just gets him. There it is.
As well committed, I think.
That's going to be some bounty gold. Beryl is about 100 health, but that's exactly the way he likes it, as Close is teleported in. That is going to be Rift Herald going over to the Bros against the flow of play.
Yeah, they may be able to, by the way, bounty, if they could get this mid-turret. I'm not sure if they can actually get the mid-turret with a drop here, but they are going to try for it. Hype has ult, so they're trying to bait a play here out of Dplus.
Squishy members of DK are the ones trying to frontline here as in goes Morgan, finds Showmaker, and down he will go. The turret is still standing, but it's not quite working out. Polu goes over the wall. The Zed is already dead. And Aiming and Beryl will not be able to stand their ground. Shiu is taken out of turret here on this top side of the map as they do get a second charge on the inner.
There's a big wave here. I don't know if they quite have enough, though, to go for a weird setup here for Dplus, so there's no real objective to fight for. There's no top turret, as I am concerned there could have been a potential overextension there. We've seen that quite a bit, especially from our Noodle team yesterday. This type of game state, but they get a lot of Croco's health, and it is a Zed, so he should be fine,
We'll see whether he will be fine as the death mark does come out onto Croco. The explosion of damage comes in, Subjugate not enough to keep him alive, and Lucid just goes back to his other shadow. That gives time for Showmaker to make his way over, and Shiu has finally joined the fight, finds Hype, and that is going to get the flash out of the MF. The tree died off camera, and DK right back into the driver's seat. Those tempo vibes, man, they are a fickle mistress, are they not?
They certainly are. Morgan is the name of the game.
That's what they're going to look for. As Showmaker and Lucid are closing in, they would really like Beryl to be here. Steadfast Presence gets so much work done against the Ambessa, who's now going to have to vacate. Not a whole lot of minions, but they do have 3 grubs, so these Void Mites are going to really be helping out. Croco does take a bunch of petals here, petal value, in trade for an inner turret.
If he's left alone, he'll just push that back and start hitting that other inner turret I was mentioning. And then the Otacon vision will naturally eventually get taken over by Dplus as they reset post-Dragon. And Dplus playing a good macro game again here.
And then you're like, Ari Scion, yes.
There's that Showmaker TP. He appeared to be not there, but he's there, in fact.
And I don't know whether the Bros can do anything about this.
No.
They do have the Nature's Grasp, but it's so far away. Polo moving in, and Lucid able to lock this one down. The Poppycopter is spinning, but Beryl doesn't even need to use it, as now Closer on that flank angle is going to get spotted out. Does a lot of damage here to Aiming, who's trying to keep himself healthy. Shiu doing the same thing. Look at that health bar. That item is revolting, and Morgan is caught out on the backside. They are just being surgically removed from the map. If you have a bro problem, DK can solve it for you. There is Shiu taking down the Trundle, and Closer going to be the next one on the menu. They are all about conservation here, though, so the trees will live, but that is all. Gargoyles need not apply. Notre Dame will be taken down in front of their eyes. Down goes the inner turret. There are a lot of weird references in that last play-by-play. I'm sorry about that one, but that was a great fight for DK.
MF. Yeah. Let's just say she's not getting younger in this game.
Yep. Now we've got to teleport in. Showmaker could be in trouble, gets a speed up from the Molten Shield.
Phase rush out. Get out of there.
Nature's Grasp. That's going to lock him up, covered in cats, and put in the bin. Down goes Showmaker. It does take a bit of time, does do a bit of damage there as well. But the Showmaker for inhibitor turret trade is one that scholars have actually come to a determination on. They have said, in fact, getting the inhibitor in the mid lane for the Bros.
Dplus called in the first 15 minutes, right after that ad.
Yeah.
And that is a bounty going over to Morgan. That's something. But my bro leaf is not very strong right now in this third game, Atlas.
Dwindling, to say the least, Wolf, as DK do manage to take down another inhibitor turret.
A little bit unfair, but I want everyone to see. Hype has IE. Okay, he has it.
Yeah.
Now, Aiming does have, you know, a 3,400 gold lead. Say, like, look, it's a 2.5 item misfortune. You know, maybe she could do something in this fight. Let's see what she does in these upcoming fights, if anything, in this draft.
Beryl would go in there, wouldn't he?
He would.
As this time, Aiming is going to be alongside him. Lucid there as well. He really wants to kill Closer. He might be able to do so, but the Death Mark is not quite going to do the damage. The bullet time does, though, as Beryl will be going down, but there is also the Galio falling as Shiu gets into the backline. This time, he's on a champion that's actually supposed to do the flanking, and there There he goes. He finds the angle, has aiming there for the cleanup. And I don't think we're even going to see a Baron, as I think DK just want to end the game.
Even going into a choke point to MF, but you know what? Maybe Hype broke 8K off that one. That's your consolation prizes. Dplus are going up to match point here in a very decisive Game 3.
Oh my goodness. Showmaker flashed him in the air just to show.
There's a lot of explosive pieces on the top side of both of these comps, though, in the LeBlanc and the Akali, right? And then the Pantheon that can follow up so easily. XP away from 6, but he doesn't have it. So unfortunate for him.
Yeah, Beryl also doesn't have wild growth, though. Both of them.
They're 6.
Yeah, pretty important, as now there's the Grand Starfall. Polu does find the knockup, though, and immediately Lucid is taken down so incredibly low. But First Blood goes over to Showmaker. Finally, Closer is able to lock that one down, just presses R on the Pantheon, but has to use it to get himself out. And now DK with control of the area. Now we've got some ults flying out on the bottom side.
Kills on the junglers, mid laners, the ones who receive them, as Showmaker's in trouble.
Yeah, Closer actually going to be able to find an angle here as he does go into his shroud, but Lucid's found him. Now Showmaker having to flash away from the Akali, who does have the passive prepped, and there it is. Solo kill for Closer. And Lucid may not actually win this one, as the Shuriken backflip is going to connect.
And Akali here.
Well, he does find him regardless. As 2 seconds, Showmaker is now back up again, as he's just dead. So that is going to be an execution. No kill going over to Beryl this time around.
There wasn't any vision on for like where Lucid was there. Otherwise, obviously, he would have tried to maybe do something different there. He was looking for the execute initially, and he's like, I don't know if they're following me. Tries to channel back, and then eventually just goes for the execute. Make a play here, but doesn't quite have his ultimate back up just yet.
Okay, here comes Showmaker. There's the wild growth engage from Beryl. Pop Blossom going to pick up the Lulu, but Hype is in no position to deal damage. Aiming, locking down the kill, but the Shuriken backflip doesn't connect onto the Zeri. Perfect executions, exactly that though, from Closer as Morgan's underneath the turret. Showmaker, I don't know whether he's going to be making his way out of this one. He's going to see what he can do as he goes back to the ulti, but there's just too many here. And Lucid, way too late, as Morgan can tank this one up for long enough. Closer actually picks up the aggro. I thought Morgan was definitely dead there, but it's a bloodbath, but one in favor of the Bros. Yeah, this is actually really well played by the Bros. DK not really worried about dragons at this stage of the game, I guess. And when you've got a Zeri, I mean, she's kind of the win condition. You don't need to worry as much about it, as she's going to walk up a little bit late. One more objective for the Bros. So like you were talking about, if this Herald is going to get contested, you best hope that, okay, in goes aiming, finding an angle here is Hype. One more order, the flash does get aiming in there. The wild growth to keep him alive. Can he skate his way out? Does he even want to get out, as he gets so much of his health back? And DK find a pivotal fight just before the potential Herald.
That's just such a massive play there from Aiming and Beryl, and they're looking for more!
Oh, in goes Showmaker, just surfs his way through.
For ability to catch her on flanks and to hunt her down, but this is really not the reason. This is just full map control, full topside control of the lane there, and Showmaker finds a stray Palu and takes him out. It's a ton of gold, inconsequential on the objective, because they were going to get that no matter what, but Showmaker getting that extra bonus.
Question mark. I mean, it was looking a little bit dire.
I mean, I considered it for sure.
저거 잡아볼게.
I'm gonna try to look for it.
Well, he did.
Got it.
전령아 전령.
And then calls to go for Herald.
So that is a whole lot of fun. See who's going to be able to lock it down. So far, Dragons have belonged to the Bros, but this time, DK, I don't think they're just going to give up Soul Point for free.
No, I don't think so. And the mid turret being down also really helps them set up for plyo for any objective on the map. And this is a Sivir who just lost mid turret. That's not what you want to be doing in this combat.
Carly, like there's so much mobility there. And lockdown with the Jarvan.
I think though the problem is if everyone goes in onto Aiming and Showmaker's just waiting, he just also kills Hype 1v1, and then you're like, uh-oh, that's kind of problematic. And then Jax either takes over the fight, or you trade 80 carries so the fight slows down, and she using the side lane, killing your turrets, you know? The game state here is so tough for Bro, and if you could describe those fights, okay, this could be a scenario where...
oh, wait! Yeah, Closer going to be able to find him here. And Aiming is really dead.
Okay, well,
Why was he there? I'm still not...
He's like, I'm Zeri. I'm like, well, there is an Akali over there, though. That's a 4th kill for Closer.
Yep, I think scholars are still asking the
question. That's right before Soul Point, by the way. Like,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Well,
I'm
15
sure,
seconds until aiming is back up again, and they know now that they cannot contest for this. So that is feats of strength and the kill onto the Zeri. A whole lot of tempo and momentum back in the favor of the Bros.
I mean, just suddenly off of a pick like that, and I can hear Chronicler's voice from here. I can hear Cadrill's voice from here. That's not the pick you wanted to be giving over. Now, they are going to turn this into an Otacon take here on the top side. Closer has TP. Morgan has TP. But I
they have no vision. They have done no homework.
They just don't have any vision here whatsoever. I think they simply have to give this up.
Well, Xiu is going to teleport in.
Okay, they're going to commit to a late contest, but it's just way too late.
Yeah, no, it's not a contest. They do know. So they can watch.
Commit to a watch. They're going to check it out.
Yeah, so feats of strength did go over to the Bros.
Through, like, both Xiu and Aiming get a full level lead. Same with Beryl. Bro, not a pedal to their name.
Oh God, it's 33-0?
Not a single one.
How do you not get any?
Yeah, it has to be like you just don't like flowers, I guess.
I mean, the generosity of the Bros, man.
They are going to get this turret in the bottom lane. The gold is still relatively even, albeit slight in gold, and they are down 3 dragons. I think the scaling really favors them because they have so much map control. Like, look at the mini-map and tell me that Bro have an opportunity. Croco's finding one!
Yeah, Croco gets him. The Pop Blossom comes down, but Aiming just hops the wall. He does have to ghost, has to use flash, gets the wild growth. Lucid also has to flash, but that was his fault, I guess, as now he's going to dive on top of Hype. Now he's dead, though. Hype going to be able to lock down that kill.
Okay, use the Zeri to kill the Pantheon. I got it. Yeah. All your hopes of that World Championship down the drain, that LCK Championship down the drain.
I mean, they can give this dragon, though, right? They have 3 dragons in pocket. There is plenty of time here for the Bros.
I just think they don't want to give any more scaling over to this Zeri. They want to get this and get the longevity from it right now.
Now Showmaker does get the spell shield out from Hype. Xiu on a flank angle, though, as Morgan immediately turns onto him. Showmaker going to try and stop the follow-up, but he still gets pulled back on the hunt. Going to come on through here as Showmaker gives Xiu a target, but it's not exactly the greatest. Now Morgan looking for an angle as the dragon has been pulled out. A fight on multiple fronts now, but Hype gets back to the rest of the 3. Showmaker continuing to be annoying, though, and Morgan is put on a leash. Showmaker's taking Morgan for a walk. And okay, now Lucid and Croco battling it out. It's going to be about this fight to see whether the Infernal Soul's coming in. But the Zeri's already starting to pop up. Morgan going to go down. It's a bloodbath. They get the Infernal Soul, but they get nothing else. And Croco going to try and make his way out with his life, but I just don't think it's going to work as Showmaker connects the chains. Down he will go. That's the ace. And now let's see what DK can go. Can they just win the game?
I think so. I think it's just done. They went for the fight. They went for the collapse, but Showmaker said no, and Dplus continue the run, keeping their chances alive here. Bro, no one to respawn. And I suppose here in Game 4, Degon, it's truly Brover.
It is unfortunately Brover for this year, but remember, we will have a plan. That Brotax will still make it. As DK, they will too.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.